Yeah, what's good, cryptocurrency fans out there? Welcome back to the Everything Altcoin channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the Aerodrome of Robinhood. We're going to be talking about the DEX up, and we're also going to be talking about the Jupiter of Robinhood called Mancer, right? We're going to dive into both of these because these are looking like it's going to be some good plays on the early stages of Robinhood. So my earliest video on Aerodrome was 2 years ago when it first came out. Right now, we got into it pretty early in the Discord. We got into it around that 22 million market cap. I saw it around 15 million and wanted to get into it at the time. Then I made the video later on after it pumped to about 74 million market cap. You guys already know this is why you guys are in that Patreon group, to get these plays pretty early. But I'm seeing the same similarities here with up, but now up is going to be more similar to Aerodrome than Aerodrome was to PancakeSwap. This time I'm bringing you guys up a lot earlier than I did. Essentially, we're going to be talking about up because it fits again with the thesis that I had throughout this whole channel, and it's played out, right? What is that thesis, you may ask? It is, when you're on a new chain, it's simple. You want to be very simple. Look for the main DEX and look for the launchpad. Those two ways gives you the best opportunity for the full growth explosion on that chain if it does take off. AVAX, you had this is going way back. AVAX, you had Pangolin, you had Trader Joe. Those were two DEXs fighting for the main DEX. It became Trader Joe. You had Avalanche, that became the launchpad of AVAX. On BNB, you had pretty much PancakeSwap, and I can't remember the launchpad that was there during that time, if there was a launchpad there during that time. Solana, the same thing applies, even though the exceptions on Solana was that you pretty much couldn't get these at cheap prices, right? Jupiter became the main DEX on Solana that everybody was trading through. Radium was the cycle before, so maybe people didn't even know about Radium, right? And then you had Pump Fund as the launch pad of Solana. Now on Base, it was pretty simple. If you followed that, you would have found Aerodrome. Even though there's always, in the early days of these chains, there's a bunch of DEXs that try to fight to become that main DEX, right? But sometimes it's pretty clear early on, especially on Base. It was easy to see once Coinbase invested into Aerodrome. That meant Aerodrome became the main DEX of Base. Now for Launchpad, we didn't get a Launchpad really till a little bit later on in the life cycle of Base, right? And that's when things got hyped on Base. That was Virtuals. Virtuals became that main Launchpad. Now, what are we looking at when it comes down to Robinhood? You're looking for the main DEX on Robinhood, right? You're looking for the Launchpad on Robinhood. Luckily for us, those two have been easy to spot, especially if you're in a Discord. Stonkbrokers became that main Launchpad for Robinhood, right? Even though people are still fighting for, like, the Launchpad scene, but I feel like Stonkbrokers is going to be probably one of the most exciting launch pads on Robinhood. Don't mean it's going to send the biggest runners on Robinhood, but it may send the biggest utility plays on Robinhood, right? You got CashCat that has his own launch pad, which I have a thesis on. You have Pawns as well. You have Uni, and you have Sushi doing their launch pad. So it's really, the launch pad game is thick. It is thick like a bowl of oatmeal. People are fighting for it. They already understand what comes with becoming that main launch pad on a deck, on a new chain, I should say, especially a new retail chain like Robinhood. It will be crazy, right? But we're going to be talking about Up today as the main DEX here. Up is sitting at about $6.3 million market cap, FDV of $163 million. Now, people may be wondering what is going on here. Why is there such a big discrepancy between the market cap and FDV? Well, the market cap is based off of this circulating supply, and you guys can see the max supply is infinite. Now, the similarities to Aerodrome is so strong that pretty much this has the same tokenomics as Aerodrome in terms of like the emissions, right? You guys can see how the emissions will be working here and get an understanding of how the emissions will play a factor into the tokenomics within a year, 2 year, whatever it may be, right? So this is, if you've seen how Aerodrome played out, you're going to pretty much understand how this is also going to play out as well. So the emissions is going to go up, but we'll see how this one is going to play out. As of right now, it's pretty early on there where you can get a nice little good trade off of it, and people have. I did too. I gotten in at a decent market cap. Now, the big news behind Up and why I think is going to be the main DEX and more exciting than Aerodrome was very early, was because they have partnered with stockbrokers. Stockbrokers is now the, like, you know, the one altcoin outside of a meme coin on Robinhood that has everyone's attention. People are wanting to go on to stockbrokers and trade what is launching there, from their NFTs to the tokens. This has been exciting, and the fact that they have partnered with Up as a DEX to add liquidity is crazy. We're going to dive into that. Pretty much this right here is as if, it's not the same, it's similar to if Virtuals partnered with Aero in the beginning stages of base season. This would have been crazy for both tokens, right? This is honestly important, especially seeing that once people are trading some of these altcoins, right, when they launch on a new launch pad, sometimes the liquidity is hard to find where you can trade it at, right? So like with Virtuals in the early days, you could only trade these altcoins on the virtual launchpad until they added liquidity onto Aero, right? But now with Up and stockbrokers, once they launch on stockbrokers, there's liquidity already on Up. This means the devs from that are now building right now on Robinhood have learned tremendous amount from what devs have done on base. That means the good things and the bad things, and they're reiterating on it to make it better. So Simple Farmer, the dev and founder of stockbrokers, put out this tweet: Robinhood chain native DEX Up is our newest special project partner. This V33 engine will power the Stonk exchange and the Stonk launcher. What if we paired a VDEX with a token launchpad? What if Pump Fund or Virtuals and Aero were paired by liquidity and infra on launch day? This is pretty much what I'm telling you, right? This is huge, guys. You've seen the success of Virtuals, and if we think the success of stockbrokers is going to play out similarly, we can infer that that would be huge for the DEX of Up. So as part of the deal, we acquired a strategic position of 3 million Up and paired it by liquidity with stockbrokers so our infrastructure can scale. That position is roughly 4% of the circulating float on a venue where 86% of the supply is already V-locked. So they acquired 4% of this total supply right now to add to their add to their launchpad, meaning that's 4% taken off of the circulating supply. That is very interesting dynamic. So now, whereas 86% of the supply is already V-locked and sits in a safety deposit box, right, and it can never be pulled ever. Why the percentage matters is because of the voting power of V33. Venue decides where weekly emissions flow. Our stake vote emissions towards the launcher token pools and stockbroker pairs. Voters collect those pool fees, incentives, and every launcher graduate adds a new gauge for that power to feed. So this is where it gets crazy and has me excited for Up in this partnership here, right? Because listen, the position printed roughly $8,000 in swap fees within the first 15 minutes of its launch. That new token that launched, right, paired with all of this, printed $8,000 in swap fees in the first 15 minutes, guys, right? Imagine that going forward. Imagine if there's some successful launches on stockbrokers and there's heavy swapping, right? The fees is going to be crazy, meaning not only that, 80% of that fees will flow back to the holders forever, and the upside locks into V-Up, so the voting stake compounds week over week. Token creators keep their launcher fees routes no matter what, or they can stake their LP into gauges and earn weekly Up emissions instead. What does this mean? This incentivizes creators to launch on stockbrokers, right? This also rewards them if they launch on stockbrokers and stake their LPs. This is crazy, guys. This is honestly very crazy, right? A good VDEX is an elite DeFi pool, and we just pair bonded with an early stage one forever, right before our upcoming Stonk launcher releases. It's not out just yet, but it's going to be released, and that means there's going to be more launches that is going to be coming out. This is freaking exciting, guys. This is very exciting for devs that are going to be launching via stockbrokers and Up holders as well. Now, looking into Up a little bit here, I just wanted to look into the prices here. We're comparing the coins here. This is on AltcoinchasersHQ, AltcoinchasersHQ.app. If you guys want to test this out and understand a little bit more deep dive into some of your favorite altcoins, you guys should go look into it. Links will be in the description down below. Right now, we're going to scroll all the way down here. If pretty much this pretty much got to his own FDV, that's the own FDV that we have of $155 million. We're looking about 2,000% gains, and in Aeros we're looking about 6,000% gains. But this is where things get a little like a little frothy and changes a little bit because of the emissions, right? As the tokens get on the market, it does changes the amount that we can gain over time as well. So this is going to be key. This is going to be key to you guys doing your research and figuring out the emissions. We already did the math in the Discord group here, pretty much because a content creator on X actually made this mistake as well. They probably didn't look too into the emissions, and that was posted in our Discord group, and I had to correct them. I was like, they probably didn't really look into the market cap, the emissions and things like that. And I did the math. By year one, we're going to be estimating about 355 million in circulating supply. This is based off of, the emissions. Year two, 500. And of course, we try to look within the market caps here within the year. This is a moderate case of 50%. Here you're looking around 6.2. This is basically off the market cap in terms of gains. Of course, there's FDVs as well. I was pushing everyone to get into up as soon as they possibly can. You guys should always be in this Patreon here, right? You get access to this private Discord here. We're all talking about it. We're all helping each other out here. So that is key to helping you guys navigate this space, especially seeing how people flipped out of Mancer as well. You can see here, Mancer is now at a $2.7 million market cap. Actually, we traded this as well, as I told you guys. Now, Mancer and Up are not the same thing. Up is the main DEX, is like a DEX, and if you're looking at Mancer goal is to become the Jupiter of pretty much of Robinhood. That means it's going to be aggregating prices, aggregating token prices across different DEXs to find users the best like price for those entries. And not only that, they have added something different than other DEXs have, like limit orders and things like that, allowing you to DCA into something forever pretty much. And as per what the dev has always been saying, is like, he gave an example, allows you to DCA into the Apple stock for infinite time that you want, forever, like $5 every week till the end of life or whatever. And as you can see here, the Yaki, I think I said that right, Mancer is looking decent, like a decent bid right here. Jupiter of Robinhood partner plus core infrastructure of stonkbroker eco. Product is going live this week. I didn't see that news of it going live yet because there is no product on Mancer as of right now, but the fact that it's holding up around these market caps with no product is actually pretty good. 54% of the supply is locked, right? 8.5% supply burned within 5 days of launch. That's pre-product, right? What if Mancer captures 10% of $460 million in daily Robinhood volume, right? Jupiter already capturing 20% of Sol's volume for reference, right? And let's say it does catch 10%, 5%. That's going to be huge for Mancer, but we will have to see. Mancer is more so of a speculative play. You're here betting on what the dev is going to be building, how successful this dev is going to be on. And I like this post from 0x Sammy here, right? You're probably thinking this as a nail in the coffin for Mancer because people started to think that the partnership with Up was meaning Mancer is dead, right? You'd be wrong. There's a huge difference between a DEX and a DEX aggregator. Up becomes the exchange layer for stockbrokers. The Stonk Exchange Plus launcher runs on it. Graduating assets land on Up pools. Liquidity gets locked and V-Up directs emissions, right? Mancer can sit above that layer, right? Its job is to find the best execution across available venues. So Up potentially becomes another source of liquidity for Mancer to route through rather than a competitor replacing it. Then ticker/Yard expands that stack, right? Again, now he's talking about Yard here. Yard recently launched. We're not going to get into Yard. Yard is a whole different thing that we're going to get into a little bit later. I told you guys this stockbroker ecosystem is looking crazy. But that is the video for you guys. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And if you guys haven't subscribed already yet, please do so. We're on that road to 30K subscribers, and I'll check you guys later. Peace, YouTube.